Hello everyone, and welcome to another Star Trek Online video. Today it's about the Ark Royal, the new ship that is part of the 15th anniversary bundle, and, well, one of the new ships I should say. And it is a science carrier with a secondary deflector, but we are going to start this off in the trailer to look at this ship, and for some reason this material is just way too shiny so we can barely see anything. I think the light in the Earth space dock here is just, what if we did, okay, so I'm not sure who has designed the light in here, but you can barely see the ship because it's so bright. What we can do, of course, is change material, and with a different material we can actually see the ship a lot better. So this is the Ark Royal. And then there is the Kitty Hawk. So the Kitty Hawk is, I suppose, the more modern skin, and the Ark Royal is the motion picture skin. So I think I like the thing here at the top on the Kitty Hawk, and I think I like those hangers more. But both of those skins look pretty cool. Now let's do a different material. Maybe we'll do something darker here. And yeah, I just like the Type 7 material. Not sure what it is. We could also put like a pattern on this. What can we put on this? Something. Yeah, looks pretty nice, doesn't it? And like the saucer is only this bright in here, right? It just seems to be a problem with the lights, right? If I turn it like this, you can see maybe. I don't know who did the lights in here. But yeah, it's a good looking ship. Obviously, we can do the same to like the Kitty Hawk. We can pick a Type 7 material simply because I'm a big fan of a Type 7 material. And you can, of course, mix and match. So if you wanted to, you can even like, ooh, there are two different ways you can do the nacelles here. And you could have like the Kitty Hawk with those nacelles here. Maybe you also want, that'd be the hull. Yeah, because you think like the open, oh, there is Ark Royal with open hangar bays. Nice. I haven't noticed this before. So you can actually switch it so that the hangar bays are open, or you can have them closed, right? Depending on your preference. That's a neat thing. I mean, it would be cool if they opened and closed while you're out and about. But it looks pretty cool because you can see the blue stuff here. So there are essentially force fields here, right, when your hangars are open. And if you prefer like an open hangar look, you can also do that. And yeah, you can then mix and match. Actually, you could then, I mean, at this point, you're turning this into we're not a large part Ark Royal here, but what if we it is Kitty Hawk style? So Kitty Hawk seems to have always some hangar bays open, right? So Kitty Hawk is, are they like partially open, or are those like different hangars? Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I suppose those hangar doors are, oh wait, the other hangar doors are back here. So maybe those hangar doors are partially open on this one. I kind of like the top part, as I've said. But on the other hand, I like the deflector more on the Ark Royal. But honestly, as I've said, both versions I think are gorgeous. And if you want your Ark Royal or if you want your Kitty Hawk, that is up for you to decide. Now, let's go into space. Okay, here we are in space, and I'm now using the Kitty Hawk skin. I am using the Type 7 material with bit of a pattern there to create some contrast. And it's relatively dark up here around space, but a good looking ship. I also have a bowl vanity. I don't have different vanity shields here right now on me, I think. But I have the bowl one, so if you wanna look at it with a bowl vanity shield, it's certainly not looking bad, especially since the hangar bays, you can see they are definitely slightly opened here, right? This is where they would spawn. And I'm just a fan of the bowl shield, right? So there is that. But enough about the visuals, let's talk about the ship itself. So this ship comes with hangar pads. I can show you the advanced ones in the Elysium store. They are the Type 4 hangar pads, and they essentially are very uninteresting. They have phaser pulse cannons and beam overload. So there is nothing exciting about the pads here, unless you are just really into the visuals. I'm personally not using them on this ship right now. Now I've decided to use the Type 7s from the Avani, and then I have some Valor fighters from, I think that was from the first strike bundle or so. So those are the pets I'm going for. But let's talk about the ship itself and the build that I've slept on. So their ship is special because it has a secondary deflector, and it's the first ship with 2 hangar bays and a secondary deflector, which is pretty exciting. Now I'd like to point out that Borticus has posted on social media that they are seeing this as a test and they might add secondary deflectors to more science carriers. So if they think this is a success, you might see other ships retrofitted. There is nothing confirmed, there's nothing certain, but there is a chance that that is going to happen. Now, back to this ship here. So secondary deflectors are interesting because they can add damage to certain science powers. The more interesting secondary deflectors are the inhibiting one and the deteriorating one. The deteriorating one buffs drain powers mostly, and the inhibiting buffs essentially like control powers. Now there is a list on the wiki where you can see which abilities are getting buffed. I'm using the inhibiting one. It's considered to be the weaker of the two, but it just so happens that the abilities that I want to use are triggered by the inhibiting secondary deflector, because those tend to be the unconventional system triggers, right? Also, when it comes to secondary deflectors are nice, and especially I would say on the lower end, because this game has a lot of pretty insane consoles. And with the insane console reduction, cooldown reduction that you have, you essentially just end up spamming a bunch of consoles for your exotic particle damage these days. So secondary deflectors can't keep up with that, really. But if you don't have a lot of those very strong consoles, then secondary deflectors are much more interesting. And that I feel like this isn't going to massively add to any power creep. Sure, it's definitely a buff right to a carrier, but it's not going to add up a lot on the top end. It's mostly just helping normal people, and that's something that I approve of, right? I think they should roll this out to essentially like all the science carriers. Now you can argue that what's with science ships then, it takes a little bit away of their unique flavor, but there are science ships that have 4 free weapons layout and a secondary deflector and a single hangar bay. So the question is a second hangar bay that much more powerful than another front weapon? In the end of the day, Star Trek Online is not a very well balanced game. On the bright side, like every tier 6 ship is completely capable of doing all endgame combat if properly equipped, so there is that. Personally, I'm welcoming the secondary deflector. I've put an inhibiting on there because it works with my build, and I'm certainly gonna have some fun with it. Now I'm running disruptor weapons, mostly because I've combined this with the Dragon's Blood Flame Reactor from an old event ship that is in the Mods Market these days, so you can pick that up during a sale if you are interested, or you might have it from an old event. And this gives you bonus disruptor, fire code, electrical and radiation damage. So the way I've set this ship up, right, it's a mixture of carrier, energy weapons, and science. And This ship is just very versatile, right? You could focus more on the energy weapons, you could just treat the secondary deflector as just a gimmick, or you could focus more on it and use more abilities that benefit from it. You can just go console spam, you can do a carrier build. This ship has 3 engineering consoles and fully upgraded 5, which means you can get 5 hangar pad consoles on there if you wanted to. So honestly, this is just, personally for me, it's a very fun ship and a dream to build on. Now, for the equipment, I'm using 2 pieces of the Revolutionary set. This is also an old event set that's in the Mats market these days, which just helps with exotic abilities. And then I'm running 2 pieces of the Discovery, simply for the survivability. Yeah, I'm running 5 of the Advanced Disruptor Beam Arrays, and then I have the Pavan Omni. Pavan is just a very good Omni, right? So I usually throw that on almost all of my ships these days. It's also from an event from last year. Then I'm also using the Broadside Combat module. Now the Broadside Combat module is a fun console that helps with broadsiding, but it does phaser damage. So in that regard, if I would build this more towards phaser, I suppose the console would benefit some more from it. But I've chosen Disruptor because, as I said, the Dragon's Blood and so helps with Disruptor. And it still does good damage. Honestly, I'm still happy with the amount of damage it does, even if I'm not really buffing phaser all that much. But yeah. This is from another ship from the bundle. I forgot the name of it, but it also has a space trade, I think, for broadsiding. I haven't tried that out yet. Don't really have enough space trade slots, sadly. So then I'm using the winter event console. I'm using 2 disruptor buffing consoles buffing my pets. I'm using the summer event console from last year that lets me teleport around. Then here's another event console. There are a lot of event consoles on here. I'm also using Gemini device. This is from a Sensor ship, and it buffs exotic damage and it summons 2 enterprises. Those enterprises are doing a surprising amount of damage, and considering that this is a carrier, summoning more stuff in is obviously thematically approved and fun. I have the Particle Conversion Matrix. This is from also a Sensor ship, the Guardian Cruiser, and I mean, it requires you to get shot a lot, but it buffs energy and exotic damage, which is good. And it gives you a little bit of flight turn rate. The Avani, pretty popular console from last year's carrier, the carrier from last year's bundle. Then I have a Swarmer Matrix. You can pick that up usually pretty cheap on the exchange, and it just buffs pets. I have the DPRM. Now that's an expensive one, but could easily be replaced with something else. And then the Proton Eruptor module is from the Klingon Dyson Destroyer. So, having gone over the gear, let's look at the traits that I'm using. So I'm using Emergency Weapon Cycle, a pretty old and common trait for energy weapons. The Ruin of Our Enemies, that's an expensive one, but yeah, I got that unlocked from a Mats bundle. So I'm pretty much using it on every ship, but there are plenty of options what you could put there instead, I suppose. Like, I could use the trait from this ship that teleports some mines around. It's a fun one. I mean, this is undoubtedly a very strong trait, don't misunderstand, but it's not like you need it absolutely to do something or have fun. You could put a lot of different things here, I suppose. You could put something there that helps you extend Fire at Will, since I'm using Fire at Will. There isn't a great one to extend Fire at Will, but there would be like redirecting arrays, I think. And then there is the one, well, there is one Entwined Tactical Matrices, but that needs torpedo spread as well. So it would need changing of the build. Could do something simple like improved critical systems here or so. Anyway, I have the 5 magics traits from like the, well, for more bonus damage for the 5 magics and disruptor. I'll have the strike group command authority. This is also from a Sandstorm ship, and it just buffs my pets. I have repurposed cargo bay, another Sandstorm trait that gives me just more pets, and superior air denial from the, what was it? It's also from a bundle, like it's the lockbox ships from one of the earlier bundles that had this trait on it. And it really helps with pets. So then here I'm using the usual stuff with improving crit rate, and since I'm running a lot of auxiliary power, I do bonus all damage based on my aux level here. Coming to the stations, essentially no real surprises here. I'm cycling between emergency powered weapons and engines. I have a reverse shield polarity in case I need it. I have fire at will, better, and tactical team. And then I'll have a gravity well, iconic turbulence, sensor scramble, tractor beam. So my control abilities here, they trigger my deflector, right? So you can see here, affected targets after 4 seconds deals radiation damage, and same for like scramble sensors and tractor beam. I think iconic turbulence should in theory trigger this. In reality, it doesn't. So there is that. And then I have also timeline collapse and chronometric inversion field. Now I am using unconventional systems on this, so I've got a lot of triggers for them. Also, by the way, I haven't talked about my personal space trait. So I am using unconventional systems, I'm using Boimler, I'm also using particle manipulator. I don't really have as much EPG as I might want, but when you're trying to do science, pets, and energy weapons sort of at the same time, you won't have everything, I suppose. So yeah, I'm using some traits to buff my pets, and I have Fragment of AI tech for more control, and Harmonic Shielding, which is a very nice trait, I think, like just for survivability. And it's very cheap, so I put it on a lot of ships. I also have EPS manifold for power. This is an engineering captain, so I can produce quite a lot of power, I guess. So how about we take this into a mission? Okay, how about we do unvoted guests on Elite? That should give us quite a few Borg to shoot at. We'll see how the ship stands up to that. I suppose it will be pretty well.
The Vigilance stands ready to fight at your side.
Launching some pets, activating buffs.
You must close the vortex as soon as possible. We cannot allow it to remain open.
Okay, we go in there. Let's start our broadsiding console. And you can see now all of the faces shooting out. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Now I've obviously I need to maneuver a little bit better here. So one thing I have to say is, you might be thinking all of those forward-facing science abilities don't go well with broadsiding, right? And you're absolutely right on that front. But it's fine, it's fine. We'll just have to, see, the thing is, the good thing about fire at will, right? It doesn't care what you have targeted. So you can, I need to close this vortex, don't I? I've already flown off. So the thing is, right, with fire at will, I can't just fire at will stuff that I don't have targeted. So I can, for example, use my Dragon's Fire on whatever is in front of me, and then have my fire at will hit targets towards my sides. Same with the broadside console, right? I just need to be surrounded. That's everything is fine as long as I'm surrounded, right? So now we're going to hit them a little bit with forward-facing stuff, and then we're gonna fire at will a bit, and then we're gonna use the fun console again. Meanwhile, of course, everything is filled with my pets, just the way I like it. Hey, didn't I just close them?
Sensors indicate.
Ah. Now comes the real fight.
Together, we will
Throw out the buffs.
and their golden vessels. We must remain united to defeat the war.
We must remain united.
Will not let war prevail.
Crank up our power a little bit here. I almost have my I have this ready again. We have the broadside console ready. Now we're gonna broadside a little bit. Obviously I'm an engineer, so I can also buff myself otherwise a little bit. And we have more things ready. You know what? I could actually be sensor analyzing the Borg cube if I wanted to. Now that we have our front-facing consoles again, gonna look the Borg cube in the face.
Remember, through unity, we are strong. These Borg are consistent indeed, which is why they
I love this broadside console. It just looks so cool, and I don't mind that it's not the same. I would have obviously been cool. It would be the phaser damage if it would be the damage type of your chosen weapons. But you know, I can live with this.
victory is within our grasp. Eliminate any remaining Borg vessels. Close that remaining vortex. Now!
Close that remaining vortex, and the kitty is still breathing fire. Let's get a little bit away here. And yeah, this is, well, the Ark Royal, or in this case the Kitty Hawk. A pretty fun ship. And if you still have your coupon from the anniversary giveaway, right, that T6 coupon that we got, it should work on this ship or on any of the other new ships. So there is that. So if one of them is one that interests you and you still have your coupon, you can grab that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I'll see ya next time.